Reddit woman, how you realized that your husband's family was against you and how you rubbed their noses in it. I always thought my husband's family just had a different way of doing things. Traditional, you could say. But when they came to visit for 2 weeks, I realized it wasn't just about culture, it was about control. In our home, my husband and I share everything. I cook breakfast, he makes dinner, and we have a housekeeper for the deep stuff. But his parents clearly thought I was failing as a wife. They didn't like that I worked. They didn't like that their son cooked. They didn't like, well, me. I tried to be polite. When I visited them, I played the daughter-in-law role they wanted. But at my house, I live by my rules. The turning point was when I came home from work, tired and hungry, only to find dinner hadn't been made. My husband stared at his plate. His mother smugly informed me that I should be cooking for the family. My cowardly husband said nothing, not a word. So I did what any bad wife would do. I ordered takeout. I plated food for me and the kids. I sat down and ate. Alone. They eventually joined with their own hastily made meal, and his mother still had the nerve to lecture me on my duties. When I asked my husband if he had anything to say, he said, "My mom is right." That was it. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I simply stood up, packed a bag, and spent the next few days at a hotel with the kids. Now, I cook breakfast. For myself. My husband cooks dinner for himself. And the next time his parents want to visit, I told them they can stay at a hotel. I'm done playing hostess to people who think I'm less because I don't live to serve. Reddit says, not the asshole. Telegram? Also not the asshole. I knew my in-laws hated me the day they gave my husband an ultimatum, so I gave them a surprise they'd never forget. It didn't start with a scream. It started with a subtle silence, one that settled in the room like dust after a long, bitter storm. That was the day I realized my husband's family didn't just dislike me, they were actively plotting to push me out. I had been married to Michael for just over a year. His family was always polite to my face, all tight smiles and lukewarm hugs. But behind my back, they'd call me a gold digger because I came from a modest background. They thought I trapped him because we got pregnant fast. They never said it outright, but the little jabs, the jokes, the way they excluded me from family photos, it added up. The final straw came on Michael's birthday. We hosted a small dinner at our place, and his mom asked if I could make myself scarce for a while so they could have family time. I was stunned, but I smiled, nodded, and went upstairs. I heard everything. His mom said, "You still have time to get out of this. We'll help with the divorce. We'll even pay for a good lawyer." His sister chimed in with, "She's just not one of us. She never will be." And my husband? He didn't say a damn word. I waited until they left. Then I went downstairs, looked Michael in the eye, and said, "You have one chance to tell me what you really think." He said he didn't want to upset them, that they just need more time, that maybe I could try a little harder. Try harder. The next morning, I packed up our baby, booked a weekend at a spa hotel, and left him a note. "When you're ready to be a husband, you know where to find me." While I was away, I called a friend of mine who's a family therapist and asked if she'd run a couples healing dinner, a session disguised as a meal, with structured questions and no way to avoid the truth. When I came back, I invited his whole family for dinner and told them a counselor would be joining. They agreed, probably expecting a sit-down intervention for me. Instead, the therapist led the discussion with one simple question: "Can each of you name one thing you admire about her?" The silence was deafening. When it was Michael's turn, he finally spoke. "I admire that she never once stooped to your level." His mother tried to protest, but he cut her off. "We're done pretending," he said. "You don't have to like her. But if you can't respect my wife, you're not welcome in our lives." Now, we moved to another city. We send Christmas cards and keep the distance. And the best part? Michael now calls me the strongest woman I know. And his mother? She finally learned what it feels like to be excluded. They said I'd never be one of them, so I became the one they all needed. When I first married into my husband's family, I knew I wasn't what they wanted. I didn't have the right background, the right career, or the right last name. His mother made it clear from day one. We just expected him to end up with someone more polished. I smiled and ignored it. At first. For the first year, I played along. I hosted dinners, attended every awkward family gathering, even tried bonding with his sister, who treated me like an intern in her personal sorority. They called me sweet the same way people describe a puppy chewing the furniture. And they never missed a chance to remind me I was lucky to have him. But here's the thing, I'm not just lucky. I'm smart. And patient. I worked in finance, specifically tax law. Boring to most, but invaluable if you know how to use it. And his family? Old money, old businesses, and very bad with modern financial systems. I kept quiet as they bragged about how they managed their estates, their investments, their family accountant, a guy who once asked me how to open a CSV file. Then came the audit. One of their businesses, his uncle's landscaping company, was flagged for suspicious filings. Suddenly, panic. His family was scrambling. And I just watched. Quietly, calmly, until his mother called me. I hate to ask, she began, sounding like she had gargled glass, but we could really use your expertise. I could have said no. I could have watched them drown in fines and fees. But I'm not that petty. I'm precise. I reviewed everything, built a plan, coached them through the audit, and even found deductions their accountant had missed for years. They went from terrified to grateful to something new, dependent. By the end of it, I was the one everyone turned to for financial advice. His sister even asked if I could help her start a side business. His uncle wanted me on retainer. And his mom? She sent me a handwritten thank you card. But the real victory came during a holiday dinner after the audit was cleared. His father stood up to give a toast and said, "We may not have seen it at first, but we've come to realize that he pointed right at me, is the best thing that's happened to this family in a long time." And his mother? She didn't argue. She just nodded and clinked her glass against mine. I never raised my voice. I never fought for a seat at their table. I just made myself indispensable. Now when they say I'm one of them, it's not out of politeness. It's out of necessity. And it feels so good. My husband's family planned a secret family vacation without me, so I gave them a surprise they'll never forget. It started with a group chat I wasn't in. I always had a weird feeling that my husband's family didn't like me much. They were never outright rude, but it was the little things. Inside jokes I wasn't part of. Family dinners where they forgot to include me in the prayer circle. His sister calling me her instead of using my name. You know the type. But the vacation sealed it. We were at his parents' house for a Sunday dinner, and I heard his mom talking about plane tickets. I casually asked, "Oh, are you planning a trip?" And the room went dead silent. His sister looked at the floor. His mom gave me that fake smile and said, "Oh, it's just a small family thing. We figured you'd be busy with work." I stared at my husband. He couldn't even meet my eyes. That night, I checked his phone while he slept. I never do that, but something told me to look. And there it was, a family group chat named Summer Crew. Weeks of planning. Inside jokes. Hotel bookings. A whole itinerary. And not a single mention of me. Except for one message from his sister that said, "Just don't tell her. She'll make it awkward." I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I took screenshots. I sent them to my own phone. And then I made a plan. A week later, I told my husband that I'd booked a work conference in the same state they were flying to, just 3 hours away from their vacation spot. What a coincidence. I smiled. He bought it. The day they left, I drove 6 hours, not to my fake conference, but to a luxury spa resort that happened to be just 20 minutes from their hotel. With the help of a friend, I booked the presidential suite under a fake name and paid in full. Then I called a contact from a lifestyle blog I freelance for and pitched an idea, unwinding in luxury, what the family vacation could be. I uploaded photos of the resort, the champagne brunch, my massage, and I tagged the hotel. His mom follows me on Instagram. Day 3 of their trip, I got a call from my husband. His voice was tight. "Are you in Florida?" "Yep," I said, sipping a mimosa. "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you?" That night, his mom texted me. "We didn't mean to exclude you." I replied with a screenshot of her message. "She'll make it awkward." Then I blocked her. The trip ended awkwardly. My husband came home, sheepish and silent. I told him he could stay on the couch. We're now in therapy. His family hasn't invited me anywhere since. And that's fine. I'll plan my own vacations without the group chat. My husband's family lied about me to get me out of the will, so I gave them a reality check they'll never forget. I didn't marry my husband for money. He didn't have any when we met. His family, however, did. Old money. The kind that keeps secrets and traditions and holds grudges over things like marrying beneath you. From the beginning, his mother thought I was after their estate. "She'll bleed you dry and walk away," she told him loud enough for me to hear once. I stayed silent. I figured love would win out. I thought I could earn their trust. I was wrong. His grandfather adored me. He was the only one who treated me like a person, not a threat. He used to joke, "You're the first one in this family who actually listens." He passed suddenly last spring. We were all devastated, but what came after was worse. His lawyer called to schedule a family reading of the will, and that's when the whispers started. His sister claimed I'd manipulated Grandpa into favoring me. His mom said I alienated the family from him. Suddenly, I was the reason Grandpa didn't attend as many dinners or answer every phone call. None of it was true. But they said it enough times, loud enough, to get what they wanted. When we arrived at the reading, the lawyer looked confused. "There's been a last-minute change," he said. "A new will was filed 3 months ago, but the family presented an older version and signed. You see, 3 months before Grandpa passed, he asked me to help him set up a digital budgeting app. He was curious about crypto, of all things. During that time, he also had me scan and upload some legal documents for him, including his new will. He gave me a copy and made sure it was signed and witnessed. And he left everything to be divided among his grandchildren equally. No parents. No siblings. Just the next generation. And me? He left me one thing, his watch. It didn't seem like much. But when his daughter, my mother-in-law, saw the will, she turned white. That watch was solid gold. Vintage. And inside it? A handwritten note tucked behind the face, folded so small it could fit in a thimble. "Give this to her." She listened. I handed the lawyer my digital copy of the signed will. He verified the signatures. It held up. They tried to fight it, of course. Screamed about fraud and manipulation. But the paper trail was clean, the witnesses credible, and the judge? Not impressed by crocodile tears. Now my husband and his cousins have what their grandfather wanted for them. And the rest of the family? They got exactly what they gave me for years. Nothing. As for the watch, I keep it in a shadow box on my dresser. Not because it's valuable, but because it reminds me that sometimes the quiet ones aren't the fools. They're just waiting for the right time to speak. They told me I couldn't cook, so I served my in-laws a meal they'd never forget. I swear I didn't set out to poison anyone. My husband's family always looked down on me. I'm a graphic designer, work from home, tattoos, a little crunchy granola for their taste. His mother once said to my face, "You're like if Etsy made a person." I laughed. But it stung. The real tension started when they found out I was a vegetarian. You'd think I'd confess to worshipping Satan. Every family dinner? Meat heavy. "Oh, you can just eat the mashed potatoes," his mom would say while they were swimming in beef gravy. "Didn't you bring your little veggie snacks?" She said it like I carried around rabbit food in a pouch. So when it was finally my turn to host Thanksgiving, I planned the whole thing myself. And yes, I made it vegetarian. But not weird. We're talking mushroom Wellington, herb stuffing, cranberry orange glaze, stuff that would blow your mind if you weren't actively trying to hate it. Except they did. From the moment they walked in, the comments started. "Oh, it smells healthy in here. Where's the real food? Don't worry, we'll get burgers on the way home. I should have kicked them out right then. Instead, I served the meal with a big smile. And a very special secret. You see, my best friend owns a bakery. She's also a certified cannabis chef. And in the middle of the chaos of prep, she handed me a batch of very special butter. Only use it if you need a plan B, she joked. Well, I needed a plan B. I swapped just one stick of regular butter in the mashed potatoes for her magical version. Just enough to soften the edges of their snark. Dinner went oddly well. My mother-in-law had 3 servings. His dad said, "These are the fluffiest potatoes I've ever had." His sister, usually a pouty Instagram zombie, started laughing. Like, hysterically. At the salad tongs. Within an hour, the room was silent. Everyone looked sleepy. No one was insulting me. My husband, who knew what I'd done, bless his chaotic soul, just kept asking if everyone was feeling relaxed. I told them they must be tired from travel. They left early. My Emile said, "I don't know what you did, but I feel peaceful." I said, "It's just good food made with love." I didn't tell them what was in it. I never will. It wasn't enough to harm anyone, just enough to shut them up for once. They still talk about my mashed potatoes. Maybe she can cook, they say now. I serve them at every holiday. And I always watch to see who goes back for seconds. Because while revenge is sweet, it's even better with garlic and chives. My husband's family called me the placeholder wife, so I showed them I was the upgrade. They never said it to my face. But I heard the whispers. The way his sister said, "She's just not what I pictured for him." The way his mom used the phrase "his first marriage" like it was a prophecy. They never gave me a chance because I wasn't who they had planned for. I wasn't blonde. I wasn't from their neighborhood. I didn't go to their church. And worst of all, I was independent. I didn't ask them for advice, and that bruised their egos. What really stung, though, was the ex. His ex-fiancée was their golden girl. They stayed friends with her after the breakup, even invited her to family functions, for closure, they said. She sent Christmas cards. His mom kept her photo up in the hallway long after we got married. I asked him about it once. He said, "It doesn't mean anything. They're just stuck in the past." Well, the past caught up real fast. At our 3rd anniversary party, his aunt got tipsy and asked me, "So how does it feel being the one he settled for?" I laughed. Because if I didn't, I'd cry. Later that night, I sat across from my husband and told him everything, how I felt like I was constantly proving I belonged. Like I was auditioning for a role they never wanted me to have. He held my hand and said, "Then let's stop trying." I blinked. "What do you mean?" "Let's stop trying to be part of their narrative. Let's write our own." We did. The next family gathering, we arrived late and left early. No more endless small talk. No more gritted teeth dinners. When his mom mentioned his ex, again, he said, "We're done comparing. If you can't respect my wife, we're not coming back." And we didn't. For a whole year. That's when everything changed. His sister called me. Apologized. Said she didn't realize how much she'd hurt me. His mom wrote me a letter. Said she missed her son. Asked if we'd come for Thanksgiving. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I posted something on social media. A photo of our anniversary trip, us standing in front of the house we just bought. The caption read, 3 years, 1 mortgage, 0 regrets. Being plan A the whole time. They all saw it. And this time, they said nothing. Thanksgiving came. We went. The photo of the ex? Gone. Replaced with one from our wedding. And during dinner, his mom raised a toast. To the woman who makes my son better, and us too, if we're lucky. I don't need their validation. I never did. But hearing it felt good. Because I wasn't the placeholder. I was the prize. They said I was just a pretty face, so I outsmarted my husband's family at their own game. When I married Ethan, his family treated me like decoration. I was the pretty one. His mom once told me, At least you'll have beautiful kids, even if you can't balance a checkbook. His brother joked I was hired for looks, not skills. Every dinner, every event, I was the punchline wearing lipstick. They were an intimidating bunch. His mom was a high-powered attorney. His brother ran a real estate firm. And me? I was a fashion photographer. Apparently, not a real job. But what they didn't know, I had a double major in marketing and finance. I'd just chosen a different path. And I'd kept my skills sharp by helping small businesses build branding strategies on the side. The opportunity to set the record straight came wrapped in irony. Ethan's brother invited me to a family game night. Classic rich people bonding, trivia, charades, and, bizarrely, a business pitch challenge. Everyone had to create a fake company, build a plan in 15 minutes, and pitch it like we were on Shark Tank. They laughed when it was my turn. His mother even leaned over and whispered, "Let's see if she knows what ROI means." So I stood up and pitched a luxury homeware line built around ethical sourcing and viral marketing, complete with profit projections, scalable fulfillment, and influencer seeding. I even quoted relevant market stats off the top of my head. The room went silent. His brother muttered, "Did you prepare this ahead of time?" "Nope," I said, smiling sweetly. I thought I wasn't supposed to know what scalable infrastructure meant. His mom didn't say much the rest of the night. The next morning, Ethan got a call from his mother. "She wants to meet for coffee," he said. "She said she misjudged you." I went. I didn't gloat. I didn't rub it in. I just let her talk. Turns out, her firm was quietly looking to rebrand. She asked if I'd be open to consulting off the record. I said yes. I charged my full rate. I redid their pitch deck, helped reposition their website, and even coached her through a presentation that landed a high-profile client. Now, she tells people I'm brilliant and underestimated. Ethan's brother asked if I'd ever considered joining his team. I declined. Not because I couldn't, but because being underestimated has perks, especially when you turn it into leverage. Now they include me in every decision, every group text, every family photo. But I don't need their approval. I just enjoy watching them try to earn mine. And the best part? I framed their old game night score sheet, the one where I earned triple the points of anyone else, and hung it in my home office. Because sometimes, revenge wears heels and carries a business plan. My husband's family treated me like a ghost, so I became the one they couldn't ignore. When I walked into my first family dinner with my husband, I knew I didn't fit. They weren't mean. They weren't rude. They were dismissive. I was a ghost at the table. They'd ask my husband how his day was, even when I answered first. They'd toast to the family and leave me out of photos. His mom once introduced me as just his girlfriend at our wedding shower. I tried. I brought thoughtful gifts, offered to help in the kitchen, complimented their cooking. I learned their traditions. I even tried to bond with his sister by attending one of her endless charity events. Nothing changed. What they didn't know was, I kept a journal. Not to complain, but to track. Every slight, every snub, every time they interrupted me mid-sentence and moved on like I didn't exist. I started treating it like data. I was building a case, not for confrontation, but clarity. Then came the pregnancy. Suddenly, they were interested. Calls, gifts, name suggestions. I was stunned. His mother said, "You'll be carrying our legacy." She said it with a smile that made me feel like a vessel, not a person. They hosted a baby shower. I showed up grateful until I saw the cake. "Welcome, Baby Thompson." Just the last name. Not mine. Not even mom-to-be. Just their legacy. That night, I cried. Not because of the cake, but because I realized I'd spent years begging for scraps of love from people who wouldn't even learn my middle name. So I stopped. No more texts. No more family dinners. When they asked why, I sent one single message. When you're ready to see me as a person, not an accessory, you know where I am. I had my daughter in a quiet hospital room, just me and my husband. His mother wasn't there. His sister texted once. His dad sent a thumbs up emoji. 6 months later, I launched a parenting blog. Quiet at first, but it grew fast because I wrote honestly with heart. People connected, shared. Soon, I had sponsors, brand deals, a book offer. My daughter's first birthday went viral. Not because of anything extravagant, just a photo of her holding a cupcake with a caption, 1 year in, and she already knows her name. They saw it. All of it. His mom called me, voice trembling. We miss you. We didn't know we were hurting you. And I told her, you didn't want to know. We're rebuilding now, but on my terms. They come to my house. They follow my blog. And when they hold my daughter, they say my name with care. Because I may have been invisible once. But now, they see me. And they know better than to look away again. They tried to cut me out of the family business, so I took the whole business with me. I wasn't born into wealth. I married into it. My husband's family owned a generational business, a boutique winery with a historic estate, luxury tastings, the whole lifestyle Instagram dreams are made of. When I married him, I moved into their world. Learned the language, the vintages, the legacy. I had a background in branding and PR, so naturally I offered to help. I redesigned their website, launched an online store, and created a viral TikTok series that made their sales explode. Within a year, revenue doubled. But when the press came calling, they cut me out. The article read, "Family-owned winery reinvents itself for the modern age." And beneath it, a photo of my husband and his parents. No mention of me. Not even a thank you. I was furious, but my husband told me to let it go. It's just old habits, he said. They don't mean anything by it. But it did mean something. Then I found the draft of their new business charter. They were restructuring the company into a trust, one that would include their kids, but not their spouses. Not me. All that work, all that growth, and I'd be legally locked out. They called it protection. I called it betrayal. So I smiled, nodded, and started building my exit. Quietly, I bought the domain name modernharvests.com. I registered an LLC in my name. I hired a small team, web devs, designers, marketing strategists. I used everything I'd learned while working on their brand to build mine. 6 months later, at the family's annual harvest gala, I wore red. The color of warning. The color of war. They toasted to the future of tradition. I stood, glass raised, and said, to carving your own path. That night, I launched. Modern Harvests went live with a premium wine subscription model, direct to consumer. Sustainable packaging. Female founded. And with me? 3 of their top suppliers, who had quietly followed me after years of watching their dismissiveness. Within 48 hours, I had press coverage. Influencers posted unboxing videos. And a viral tweet read, "Guess who really built the brand?" The fallout was delicious. They called me dramatic, ungrateful, disloyal. But they also called their lawyer. Too late. I hadn't broken a single contract. I owned everything I'd made, from the logos to the mailing lists I'd built on my own time. My husband backed me, said, "You should have given her a seat at the table." Now she built her own. We're still together. Stronger, actually. Because he realized blood doesn't always equal loyalty. And me? I'm not just a name on a bottle. I'm a brand. They tried to erase me, but now they drink my wine. And it tastes like victory. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and write in comments how you realized that your husband's family was against you and how you rubbed their noses in it.